Hi Aries, happy early birthday to those of you celebrating March, and welcome to your Astrology 33 bonus love reading for March 2020. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I actually won't be offering those until probably April. If I start them up again any earlier than that, I'll make an announcement on the community section of the channel. And also, when I start posting the April videos, I'll make an update there as well. As for what we have in front of us, we have Bridging the Gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And these are the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the Bridging the Gap dynamic comes into play. As for the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And also, keep in mind, this is a general reading, so if you feel more like these are your energies on this side and this is the other person's energies, then definitely trust that as well. All right, so starting with the past energies on your side, we have the Princess of Cups in reverse, King of Coins in reverse, and the Two of Cups. So this is actually the equivalent of the Page of Cups energy. And the King of Coins is actually the court card for Taurus. So I'll just put them in the upright while we talk about them. But what I'm seeing here with the Princess of Cups coming up in reverse, that could show to me that maybe you weren't real willing to give a love offer to someone, or weren't really willing to accept the love offer from someone. So you just might have been closed off to love in general. As for why that would be the case, I feel like for some of you, at the very least, it could have been because you guys weren't feeling too stable financially, given that the King of Coins was coming up in reverse. So that might have been where more of your focus was at the time. Especially, I mean, we've been talking about in your general readings and the love readings, the fact that you've had so much energy going on in your 10th house of career and social status. And not to mention, you guys have Uranus in your second house of finances too. So finances could have been a bit unpredictable for you guys lately, so maybe that was the issue. But with the Two of Cups in the upright, it does show that there's definitely interest there. And what sticks out to me too with this Two of Cups in particular, as opposed to the one that you'll see in most other decks, is this looks like a pretty stormy environment, right? We see the lightning bolt in the background. Looks like it's definitely been raining. One of the cups is knocked over. So it could just be saying that might have been the obstacle for you guys, where, again, like I said, you were closed off to either giving or receiving a love offer, most likely because you were feeling a bit unstable with your finances, and maybe that was just, meaning that you had to put more of your focus there and didn't really have the time or energy to put toward your love life in the past. Past energy on your main love interest side, we have the Lovers, which is the major arcana card for Gemini, and Eight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. So interesting to see that these energies are opposite each other, the Gemini and the Sagittarius energy. But what I'm picking up on here primarily, given that for you guys, Gemini is your house of communication, and then Eight of Wands represents taking action, can be long distance travel as well, since it is Sagittarius and that's your 9th house. So this could just be saying that someone might have extended a love offer to you, at the very least, let you know that they were interested in you as far as love goes. And I get a feeling that for some of you, they might live at a distance from you, since we do see the Eight of Wands there. Or this could just be saying that they were very persistent and communicative towards you. And again, maybe you were just closed off to it in the past because you had some other things going on in your life, primarily most likely tied to finances, so you couldn't really give them that focus at that time. And it can be a combination of the two. It might be that, and also that they live at a distance from you. But that's what I'm seeing there. And maybe this is also saying that, they have multiple options too, so that might have been, for some of you as well, you might have felt like, oh, I don't know if I should really explore this with this person, because again, like I said, if you weren't feeling too secure in yourself at the time because you had other areas of life you're focused on, you might have felt like, well, they'll probably just go with someone else anyway, you know what I mean? So it could have been one of those things. But definitely see some interest on their part in the past, and most likely I feel like they were the ones who were making the offer and taking most of the initiative in the past. Present energy on your side, we have fertility. So this is a card that is the equivalent of the Empress, and in the traditional tarot, Empress usually has the Venus symbol somewhere in the card. So there is the fact that you guys have had Venus moving through your sign, and it'll be there through the first week of March as well, I think, before it moves into Taurus. So on the one hand, I could just be saying that the Venus transit through your sign has been helpful, and then also, obviously, as it moves into your second house of finances, maybe that'll help improve that area for you guys as well. So in the present, you might just be feeling a bit more secure. Maybe the financial troubles that you guys were going through have been resolved now. So that could be what this is pointing to, that you're more comfortable in that energy and now you're able to be more receptive. Um, for others of you, of course, this could actually represent pregnancy as well, so definitely be mindful of that. If that's not something that you're looking to do, take precautions there, and if it's something that you are hoping for, then this should be a pretty positive sign for you in that regard. But yeah, and then I also get again that feeling that this could be someone that is at a distance from you because of the fact that it looks like, we see two different cultures here, right? So that could just be another indicator of that as well. In the present position on their side, we have the Four of Wands, which is Aries energy, and the Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. So now with two cards technically of Sagittarius energy. So again, you could be dealing with the Sagittarius or someone that lives at a distance from you, maybe someone you might have met while you were in school as well, or maybe just from a different culture from yours. But seeing these two cards together, for one, this can be a timeline, even though this is in the present, where if you guys are at a distance from each other, for example, maybe one of them, maybe they actually plan to come see you during the time of Aries, which starts at the end of March, but really, given that these are the last 10 degrees, it might even be mid-April. So maybe it's just you guys are making plans to meet at that time. Maybe they're going to come see you. Maybe they're letting you know that they'll be moving to your town, something along those lines. But more so than that, I feel like it could just be that because your energy is shifting now and you're a bit more open and receptive, this is just representing forward movement in the connection. I do have to say for some of you though, this can be someone who's a bit flighty, where on the one hand they do actually want to establish something stable with you, but at the same time they might have a tendency to also be a bit in and out with their energy as well. And trying to see if anything else comes to mind with these two energies. I think that's it. All right, future energy on your side, we got quite a bit. Let me see, we got Three of Cups, which is Cancer energy. Queen of Cups, which is more Cancer energy. King of Arrows, which is Aquarius energy. And Ace of Arrows, which is the equivalent of the Ace of Swords. Let me see. So, Three of Cups is usually a celebratory energy. Usually it's reconnecting with long-standing connections that you've had. Could be, for example, siblings if you have siblings, or maybe just childhood friends, maybe even family members. And obviously we see the celebratory atmosphere there. So for some of you where, like I said, this could be a pregnancy thing, maybe finding out that you're pregnant, that could just represent the celebration around that in the future. The Queen of Cups could also be another indicator of pregnancy, given that that's Cancer energy and that's a very maternal energy. But beyond that, this could just be saying that maybe there's some movement forward with you guys. Maybe you guys are going to be moving in together, since Cancer is your fourth house of home. And the King of Arrows, on the other hand, could represent, trying to stay a bit detached. So it could just be a bit of mixed feelings on your part, as far as, on the one hand, you're definitely happy about the forward progress and everything. You're being a bit more emotional and opening up a bit more emotionally, but also you might have those times where you do try to detach a little bit and try to, stick to things in a bit more of a logical manner, given that we do have the King of Arrows energy showing up here. And then the Ace of Arrows represents communication as well. So trying to see what else comes to mind, because these are pretty contrasting energies to go from like two Cancer energies and then to see this Aquarius energy. Nothing else really comes to mind other than this. The only thing that this could really be saying is that for some of you, this could be taking place during the summertime. So as far as the forward movement that I was seeing, maybe this is just the discussion phase that you guys are going through right now. And then by the time we actually do get to the summertime, this is when you're actually able to celebrate, where things are a bit more advanced in the connection and you're able to settle in that regard. The reason I say summer is because I see two Cancer energies and an Aquarius energy, which during Leo season, of course, we'll have an Aquarius full moon. So that's what I'm seeing there as far as timeline. All right. And then on their side in the future, we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy here, and this represents balance. And this could just be them, again, wanting to establish that balance with you. Like I said here, it looks like they might have had a tendency to be a bit more flighty, even though they did have the passion for you and obviously did have the attraction. Here, this could just represent them putting down roots in a way as well. And, Taurus energy and Cancer energy is actually fairly compatible, so there's that too. So that's pretty positive to see. And then timeline-wise, too, this could also be pointing to Taurus season as well. So given that it is in the future, it can extend past this month, of course. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there, that they're definitely willing to establish balance with you. And as for the bottom of the deck, you guys have the Seven of Cups on the bottom of the deck on your side, which, could just represent confusion, a lot of options on your table, not knowing which ones to go for. That could just be a matter of the fact that we have all that Pisces energy going on right now, which is your 12th house. So when things are going on in your 12th house, there can be some confusion in general, especially currently we have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is your 12th house. So add to what can already be a confusing time, the Mercury retrograde in there could just make things even more confusing for you guys. And bottom of the deck on their side is the Five of Pentacles. So for both of you, I feel like this is more past energies that we're seeing with the bottom of the deck, pointing to, what leads to the story playing out, which is to say, you might have just been a bit confused, right, with the Princess of Cups in the past position. Maybe, again, because your finances weren't looking too good, so you couldn't really dedicate your energy to your love life, especially with the artwork here. It looks like she's just staring off at a distance and there's a guy there. It looks like they're, kind of there, but she's not even really acknowledging them. So it could just be one of those things where you guys are just so focused on finances, you weren't even really paying much attention to love, which in turn could have made them feel a bit left out in the cold with the Five of Pentacles energy here. As we see in the artwork, it looks like the guy is being fairly aggressive, and then the woman looks like she's kind of resistant, especially if we look at the color differences. We see the red, and then she's wearing like that blue icy type color, so that could be what that's pointing to there. But obviously we see that shift from the 5 to the 6 here, so looks like you guys do get things back on track. All right, next we'll look at the oracle card, see if we get some additional messages here. First I'll be pulling some from the Mystic Moon oracle deck. And for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, what I do here is I do pre-shuffle this deck before we start recording, and then I'm actually looking for jumpers here. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you after that. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I just take that as a sign to keep it moving, since it's just a general reading rather than force it. So we'll see if we get anything. Like I said, first we'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them. Okay, nothing seems to be coming up there, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Almost had one there. Okay, nothing coming up there. So next I'll see if there's any unspoken messages from, oh, got one already. So there we go. Okay, we have our connection still affects me. So nothing necessarily groundbreaking there. Like I said, maybe this was one of those situations, and maybe this was a situation where it's possible you guys were together in the past, and then maybe one of you had to move away, and possibly even for work. But the our connection still affects me. That doesn't surprise me much, which is to say that even if you weren't really giving them much attention in the past, because you had other things going on in your life, it does show why they would be persistent, right? Since we see the lovers and the Eight of Wands, and then the Four of Wands, and I forgot what was under that. The Knight of Wands, which could just be pointing to the fact that, obviously if they do feel that strong connection, that even if you were blowing them off a bit, even if not necessarily intentionally, that it could just be saying that that's why they've been persistent up to that point. All right, and next we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, and I'm just looking for one card here, though, and then we'll wrap up. Oh, there we go. Okay. We have Truth Be Told. There's the artwork, and the number is 14. Okay, it says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. So yeah, I will say part of that just makes me think of the Princess of Cups and King of Coins in reverse, where maybe you weren't trying to tell them what you were going through at the time. That could be what's at play for some of you. But the Oracle's message says there is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is. Peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and spirit will answer with miracles. So definitely an interesting message there too, which is to say that even if you guys are still going through some tough times, maybe the challenge there is to be authentic and let them know that you're going through some things, which could at least maybe put their mind at ease, where they realize that maybe if they take it personally that you don't seem to be giving them attention, maybe that'll give them some understanding. The relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based in your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So definitely an interesting message there. And maybe even that's what the energy we see here is pointing to, with the King of Arrows and the Ace of Arrows, which is to say maybe even up to this point, even if you do feel an emotional connection to this person, you might still be a bit closed off about opening up how you're feeling emotionally. And then this could just be saying with that King of Arrows energy, with the Ace of Arrows right after, just to say that, maybe you should express to them how you're feeling, try to be a bit more open and vulnerable with the person. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. Like I said, once again, happy early birthday to those of you who celebrate in March. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.